Hey everyone, it's Steve from the garden. Well, the time has come for me to get my onion seeds started. So I'm going to make some changes this year compared to last year, and I want to kind of quickly go over those before we get to the actual seed starting. Now, one of the changes I'm making is that I'm using a 242 tray this year instead of the 338 tray. You can see side by side that the holes on the 242 tray are a little bit larger than the 338 tray. And the reason I'm doing that is, one, I don't need quite as many onions this coming year. And two, I still want to get a little bit larger transplant at planting time. And with a little bit larger cell, I'll be able to get a little bit larger plant. For the varieties I'm growing this year, it's going to be candy onions, which are an intermediate day or day neutral variety, and Patterson, which are a long day onion. Now, just a quick recap on the different day lengths for onions. If you live closer to the equator where you're at 36 degrees latitude or less, then you'd want to grow a short day onion. And those will start to bulb when they hit 10 to 12 hours a day in day length. And then the intermediate or day neutral are for 32 to 42 degrees latitude, and they start to bulb at 12 to 14 hours of day length. And then the long day onions are for 37 to 47 degrees latitude, and they start bulbing at 14 to 16 hours of day length. Since I'm right at 42 degrees north, I can grow both day neutral and long day onions. For those of you that sit between 32 and 36 degrees latitude, you could grow either short day or day neutral, which also gives you a little bit wider range of onions to choose from. For my seed starting mix for the onions, I did 3 parts sifted potting soil, 1 part sifted compost, added some fine vermiculite to it, and because the onions are going to be in this tray for about 3 months, I also added some balanced organic fertilizer and then a little bit of blood meal to it. The blood meal just adds a little extra nitrogen. Now, one additional thing I did this year is, because I restarted my worm bin, I added a little bit of the sifted compost out of the worm bin into the mix so that it will inoculate the seed starting mix with a little bit of biology, so that as the onions start growing, that bacterial and fungal association will help out the roots, and hopefully we'll get some bigger plants. So you can see I got my tray all filled up. I got my tags made out with my variety so I know which side is which. First up will be the Patterson onions. Now, these seeds are very black in color. They almost look like little pieces of charcoal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try my best to just get 1 seed per cell. And if I do get a second one in there, that's fine. They're easy enough to pull apart. Next, I'm moving on to the candy onions. Now, these also look like little pieces of charcoal. So the seeds are pretty small. And if you do get a second one in the cell, you can tease them apart or just, cut off the extra. When you're only doing 1 seed per cell, that does leave you open to the possibility that you're going to have some cells that don't germinate. But I'm starting these seeds early enough that, if I do get a cell that doesn't germinate, I can just pop another seed in that cell. And yeah, that one might be a week behind, but overall, it really won't make that much difference. With all the seeds in place, I'm going to moisten the surface of this, since the mix itself is a little bit dry. I'm using just a spray bottle to kind of get that surface wet, so that when I do the real watering, that water will be able to soak in without just beating up on the top. I top the seeds off with fine vermiculite. It creates a very light surface that the seedlings can grow up through, but yet it'll hold moisture in to help them germinate. Now, that's also kind of dry, so I'm also going to go ahead and dampen that with the spray bottle. I don't have a large humidity dome to cover this whole tray, so this part I'm just laying some cellophane on there, and then I'll cover the rest with a clear plastic bin And that should work well enough for a humidity dome on this. With the seeds covered, I'm going to leave them on this shelf behind me until they germinate. And then once they do germinate, we'll come back and I'll tell you like how many days it took for that germination to occur. I'm getting the first seedlings starting to pop up. And I have one really tall one. It's taken 8 days for the seedlings to emerge from the soil mixture, except for maybe that big one that must have popped down even sooner because it's way taller than all the other ones. I will be doing a series of videos on growing the onions out, transplanting them into the garden, and then a final harvest. But until then, I hope you enjoyed, hope you got something out of this, and we'll see you on the next one.